Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 2. And this evening I am joined by one of our very own Headless Chickens, Mr. Jon Bailey, a.k.a. Woody, a.k.a. the Bearded BB, if you've obviously seen him floating around on social media. Good evening, Jon.
How's it going? Hi, Jon.
Hi, Jon.
How's it
I
going?
won't warn you now, this may be one of the weirdest podcasts that we've done since we started. Jon is one of the great personalities of the airsoft industry. I have a great crack with him out on game days. Yeah, wonderful chap, wonderful personality. So I'm really looking forward to today's podcast.
Weird.
We will we'll get to know and deep dive a little bit about Jon, obviously his history coming into airsoft, and then he has a very unique take on the percentages within airsoft, and we'll have a talk about that a little bit later on today. I'm not going to do too much talking on this, mate. Obviously,
thanks,
you've been in airsoft longer than me. Obviously, I know you've got a paintball background, which I've listened to quite a few times, the stories, and I always enjoyed listening to them. But why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you got started in airsoft and how we find ourselves where we are today?
All right, yeah. Where do you start? I'm getting old now, so there's probably a lot of stories, isn't there? So my background in this life, if you like, is, as you said, mate, through paintball. Tournament paintball, it wasn't woods ball, it was tournament paintball over the CPPS site over past Stafford, where I can't remember exactly where it is now. There was a few different sites as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
So it started off there. I need to go back a bit further. I actually started off when I was working for Delta Force Paintball, and I was assistant manager and then a bit of a relief manager for their site. And I worked at the one in Holmes Chapel. I was there for 2 or 3 years, maybe. I can't remember now. It was that long ago. So I was there for a couple of years. Basically started working there after going there with my mates one day and absolutely loving paintball. It was ace, even though the paintball guns at the rental sites for Delta Force were atrocious. They used CO2 so everything froze. Paintballs were crap. It was an awful experience, but there's someone that had never done it before. It was great fun. So whilst I was literally there playing with my mates, asking if there was a job going, because at the time I was a DJ and a promoter, so my days were free and I wasn't doing anything really. So I asked for a job just for as a bit of a giggle. Started working there, and I worked there for a little while then in the end. And that got me into playing paintball, but it got me into the tournament side of it with a couple of mates that worked there. And then that's where the obsession began, really, with shooting other people with things that didn't kill them, really. Whether it was paintballs or BBs, it was just an absolute obsession with playing the game. I suppose it was down to the exercise, the banter, the team. I was never a sporty person. A kid, didn't play football, played a bit of rugby, got battered because I was really skinny and small, but I wasn't a sporty person at all. So this was the first real sport-related hobby, if you like, that I did that I was really into. So I played it for, I don't know now, years. Don't know how many years. It was years. Did a couple of the European things. I never made it to the European sites, but we did a couple of ones in London and things like that. Playing X-Ball and then some 10-man events, 7-man events and stuff like that. Any other paintballs, the CPPS site. Playing with Rich Harris back when it was the old CPPS site and then it got moved. I was playing during that sort of transition period when SoMank were playing back in the day and all the other cool teams. It was just an absolute... It was heaven, to be honest. I absolutely loved it. I was obsessed with it. We did an event at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Rich did with CPPS. We went down and played that like a paintball showcase, set up a X-Ball pitch field on the promenade at Blackpool, played a load of games there. It was just amazing. Stopped playing for a while, just work, life took over, had a young kid, everything takes over, doesn't it? And then never really got back into the paintball scene. I think my body was pretty much broken. Knees were knackered, elbows were knackered. It killed me, to be honest. And then airsoft very, very slowly came around. Played a couple of little walk-ons at Madeley. Did a couple of days there and a few other little bits, and then didn't touch it again until... When was it we started now? It was started properly 12 months ago. Really, properly back into it, like playing constantly and getting everything and then getting back into it properly. was 12 months ago, down to a mate of mine, Pete. He'd been playing it a little bit longer, dragged me and my son along, and then, yeah, we started playing, and then the obsession with Airsoft then properly started. I was always into it, always liked it, but never really as much as we have done the last 12 months. That's been a bit of a roller coaster, to be honest.
Do you think that's kind of come down to, I know you really enjoy playing with your lad, don't you? Obviously, he comes out
Playing
and
with my
plays.
lad?
He's cracking on playing. Not in that way, but obviously you like playing alongside your lad, who's one of the, I think, is a cracking up and coming little player, and he really enjoys it. And is that part of the enjoyment that comes with seeing him enjoying it and kind of embracing it? Or
yeah, 100%. Like, we didn't. So in my outlife from this sort of thing, my life's been in the angling industry. That's what my life has been obsessed with for a decade now, really. Filming, we'll probably get onto it, but my life's been in there. So every weekend it's been angling, something to do with angling, filming, fishing, working, whatever it is, it's been angling. And then my lad's been asking for ages to play Airsoft. Probably because of my paintball background, seeing the odd trophy that I've got left at home, or pictures, or whatever it is, or conversations. He's always wanted to play Airsoft. Now, I've always been a bit hesitant, like, I'm not sure you're ready yet, mate. Not sure you're ready yet, mate. And then about this time last year, we were like, let's give it a go. Because he was the one that was really pushing to get into it and play. So my mate Pete came round to my house, bought his Spectre M4, whichever one it is. He brought that round with him, and we made my lad take a shot in the back. 20 foot. Sounds bad, doesn't it, man? So we both shot my kid from about 20 foot away inside my house, just to see if he could take the pain and see. Sounds so terrible, doesn't it? And don't take it. I'm not being an idiot or horrible, but I didn't want to take him to Airsoft and then he gets shot and immediately starts crying or whimpering. I needed him to be ready for it and know what was going to happen. So we did that and he was fine. Yeah, that was it. And he was like, right, can we go and play it now? I was like, yeah, of course. You know, dad and lad time is really important to me. He was always fishing, as I say. And I've got two 6-year-old twins at home. So quality time for him with me is really important.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. That's the drive. We go out there together. I pretty much don't play unless he's out there with me. I think I've probably been maybe once or twice in the last 12 months without him.
Yeah.
It's getting him out of the house, getting him off the Xbox, getting him in the fresh air, and just spending time with him. And I think it really helps him, or kids that age, I think it really helps them mature a bit as well. It's the whole involvement and tactics and conversations and the whole thing, I think, can really help mature a young guy his age with testosterone through the roof as it is at that age, you know, and I think it's really good for him. So, yeah, I mean, very long answer, as we knew it was always going to be with me. Long answer to a very quick question.
Trust me, mate, on a podcast, it's, if we were doing TikToks, I'd probably appreciate the shorter answers, but
just cut the middle cut the middle out of that then, mate. You'll have the perfect answer. Just cut all the crap I've just said out of the middle of it.
Well, apart from the fact where you call me out for saying you're playing with the lad, I think I'm going to go back to the point. Yeah, I'm going to go back to the point you mentioned about obviously shooting in from sort of 20 feet away, just to kind of check these. There's a lot of grown adults that play the sport that could do with shooting in the back from 20 feet just to know what it feels like and actually embrace that that's all part and parcel of the game. And I'm actually chuffed that you do that, because that's part and parcel of one of the things that I remember when I first started. One of the reasons I got into podcasting was obviously I was on the Death Row podcast, and he asked me that question. He was like, how old should kids be to play Airsoft and stuff like that? My resounding answer was, I'm not bothered how old they are, but they need to be understanding that they're playing an adult's game. And if I'm playing, I've paid my money. If I peek around a corner and I see a kid that's 13, 14, and he's standing my way from the objective, I'm not going to pull any punches. He's getting shot.
Yeah,
wherever I see fit at that moment in time to clear him past that objective. Then don't expect to be held to ransom because he runs off crying and stuff like that, and I get called the bad guy. So it's all part of it. I think
there's a caveat to that, though, isn't there? And I think it comes from a video I watched on YouTube a couple of weeks ago. I think it was Valiant. If anyone watches Valiant, the American speed softer, hilarious guy. He's really fun. And he was running around with a Mosscart launcher, pistol thing, just a one-shot, boom, boom, just running around, being an idiot with that. and he ran round the corner of a barricade, and there was a kid behind there. So the kid was 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
And as he ran round, he just pulled the trigger, and this kid got the whole load straight in the face. And I was like, "Spams!" Like, I get it. The kid has to be able to take it. It's there playing adult sport, but at the same time, like, I think there's a level and there's a place where you have to be a little bit more respectful when they're that small. Which is, I'm more on the fence of maybe 13, 14 is the right age. Any younger than that, I don't. It's like you say, you don't want the guilt trip, do you? You don't want that guilt trip of hurting a kid.
I think, I'll be honest with you, I think a Moscow's probably a little bit overkill for CQB, do you know what I mean?
It was really funny,
Yeah.
but really awkward at the same time.
Yeah. But then also, I think 8 or 9 might be just about a limit. But then again, the kid probably found it hilarious. And as long as the kid embraces it and that's okay and the parents are signed up for that, then you have to look at the context of the situation, don't you?
I think I played at PTC in Warrington, and that guy or someone that works there got 1 or 2 little kids, and they play out there with them, and they can only be maybe 9 or 10, but they're quite small kids. But they run around and they absolutely love it, and they get properly stuck in. So fair play, crack on.
And it's the context, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, people want to wrap these kids up in cotton wool, and that's the one thing they don't want. It's just that they're out there to play, and I don't really mind on that. I mean, it's not often you get to kind of sit down and obviously, I've spoken to Flexi about this, but he seems to have played a different type of paintball to yourself. Obviously, he'll play wood ball.
Yeah, playing wood ball, yeah.
What's the main... So having now obviously experienced life in both camps, what are the two... What's the main difference, would you say, in terms of where Airsoft is now and obviously paintball was back in the day? Obviously, there's different facets to that. You've got the technology, you've got the gameplay, but then you've also got the competitiveness in the arena. I know obviously the level you're playing at is obviously always going to be a higher level of competitive than your bog standard skirmish day.
Yeah.
But in terms of community and sort of technology, how from your point of view of what's the comparison? What do you find as the pros and cons in both camps, I suppose, is the better question.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm sort of comparing these two with a decade in between them, if that makes sense. Maybe even a little bit longer. No, it's about a decade. I'm probably comparing these two with a decade in between them. So I'm taking my knowledge and memories of paintball from back then and comparing it to Airsoft now. It's almost two different beasts in a way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Back then, I mean, when we were competing on the paintball scene at CPPS and all the other ones, obviously you're in it to win, but like aggressively in it to win.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you finish the day and you'd have no voice left. Like, you couldn't speak at the end of the day. Like, you've been screaming that much. Either you were coaching from the pits or screaming while you're in there. It's just a different bit of a beast, really. I think it's almost too hard to compare to. I think the communities are very, very similar. Mm-hmm. They hate each other. They absolutely despise each other. Still don't understand why. But I think the communities, and if you put them side by side, they're very, very similar. Mm-hmm. Very, very similar. Yeah, you find, I'm not going to upset anyone here, you find a lot less overweight people in paintball than you do in Airsoft. Mm-hmm. You just do, because a lot of them are a lot sportier, a lot fitter. They're training hard because they need to be that fast, or they need to be able to do this and do that. I suppose sort of in the same way as it is with Speedsoft a little bit as well. But their community is very, very similar. You get a bit of toxicity here and there, but for the most part, everyone's dead sound. Everyone's trying to support the community as well and trying to push it and not trying to get on the radar of the government and get anything banned or any more trouble. For the most part, I think everyone's very similar. I
think you get toxicity. You get toxicity in any community. Obviously, you've already alluded to that. You obviously spent the last decade in angling. I'm not going to speak to you on that, but I know you've obviously got views on the community there. But I come from a cricketing community. It's very same. Vast majority of the people are great, but there's such a level of toxicity that sits within it. I think it's the same with every community. There's always somebody that just has to pipe up and be the way that they are.
100%. And I think the more you involve yourself in that sport as well, or that hobby, or whatever it is, I think the more you involve yourself in it, the more you see. And on a level of the best way to say it, the more you involve yourself in it on a working level, maybe, not just a hobby, when you try and push it more like yourself, when you try and make a brand or you're trying to create something yourself in a field, you'll be open to it a lot more. Whereas if you just go and play every Saturday and then you hang your gear up and then you go back again and play the next Saturday, you might not see any of it at all, apart from someone cheating on the field or whatever. But I think the more you try to involve yourself in it to either make money out of it, make it better, enjoy your life more, whatever you're trying to do, I think you see it a lot more then as well. You notice it a lot more because you're working in it, without a doubt.
Yeah, I think I say this most times when we talk about the community. 90.9, 95% of the community all seem aligned with the way that I think. And I like to think that I think I'm with the majority, but it's always that little part of the toxicity that exists, and I don't understand why that is. Naturally, it comes from people who have a difference in opinions and don't understand the value of debate. Like, just because we don't agree on one or two smaller things doesn't mean that we can't have
Not at all.
an overall or overarching agreement that we want the best, what we feel to be part of the community.
If you only surround yourself with people that you agree with 100%, you can have no friends.
Oh, no.
Simple as.
Exactly.
You need to, all the people that you surround yourself with, you're going to disagree with something. It's just what it is. You believe that, I believe this. That's great. Whatever. Let's carry on with your thing. It doesn't matter.
No, exactly. I mean, in terms of the technology, I know, again, we can't really do a comparison because we're sort of 10 years apart, really. But I'm going to draw upon a point you mentioned there. You said there's a lot less fat people in paintball, or there was a decade ago.
Yeah.
I've got this big thing, and obviously we'll come back to sort of military and LARP and Milsim, Batsims and everything. Obviously, Airsoft is obviously from Japan in the 80s. And at which point did somebody decide that Airsoft was going to become the gateway to Milsim and having that military angle? Because my interpretation is there's a much more military angle towards Airsoft than there ever was with paintball.
100%. You still get... I used to watch... I don't even remember his name. I used to watch a YouTuber years ago that was a woodsball paintballer, and he was dressed like he was an airsofter would nowadays. He'd modified loads of rifles to be able to shoot paintballs. He'd done loads of work to it to get that milsim effect whilst playing paintball. But you don't see it. I mean, yeah, brands are now pushing it more in the woodsball. There's loads of markers out there. Eclipse make them, I think. Dye makes some. Empire make them that look more realistic. They never will do because the mags have got to be stupidly big to take the paintballs.
Yeah.
But there is definitely a bigger scene in it nowadays of that milsim, LARP side in paintball than there ever was when I was playing. I mean, I was playing subair instead of woodsball anyway back then, so it was different anyway. But most woodsballers, when I was playing, were playing with standard paintball markers that we were using in subair, and just, I don't know, wearing some camo or something in the trees, but they were still using the same markers effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think Airsoft makes it easier because you find with such a small projectile, if you like, piece of plastic, that you can make everything so much more accessible to look realistic, feel realistic, and be realistic than you can with a paintball that's you got to have a massive barrel for, and you've got to have a massive magazine for, and if you have 4 of those magazines on your vest, you can look absolutely ridiculous now.
Yeah. I suppose also as well, going on to that then, obviously realism, obviously you've got the ability to guns on a much longer range, so you don't have to cover as much ground, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
DMR, snipers, I mean, not that I'm getting after anybody that's, slightly rotund. I'm definitely one of them. I need to shed a few myself, but I think it just kind of gives that ability where people can play the different types of roles. Whereas,
definitely,
paintball, there's that one sort of type role. I know you'll have your in subair, you'd have your snake player and stuff like that, but you still got the same sort of characteristics that you need in each player, really. I suppose.
Yeah, and all
from an athletic point of view.
Yeah, and then all on the paintball field as well. So all the marks will be the same. They'll all be the same. I mean, the back players they'll have more paint on them, but they'll all be the same marker. You might occasionally find a back play with a longer barrel maybe, or a different type of barrel, but for the most part, they're all using exactly the same gear. They're just taking different amounts of paint depending on where they're playing, really. Whereas obviously, as you've just said, in Airsoft, you've got dedicated kit to do all this other things. I mean, realistically, you don't need it, do you? I mean, barrel length in Airsoft has been proven it's completely pointless. You don't need it at all. But it gives you that feel, and you can LARP and role play that role
to
your heart's content. And if you're the type of guy that just wants to go out there and just chill out in a rhododendron bush with a ghillie suit on, and just to get away from home for the day and have a laugh with his mates, you can do that. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
And the tournament paintball scene, there isn't space for that player. And if there is, if you're there, you get noticed quickly. Like you just wouldn't be there anymore.
No. Maybe you'd be a bystander and a spectator.
Yeah, you'd be working the pit crew pretty quickly, filling pot.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, focusing more on Airsoft. Then I'm gonna quote you. You're a self-proclaimed LARPinator, but you're kind of fully immersive at the moment in terms of getting involved and things
I love
like that.
the LARP.
What's your thoughts and sort of end goal with sort of the LARP side of things? What sort of look are you going for? Because you've obviously got the helmet with the scrim on at the top. Different things. Talk everybody through your sort of thought process and what your sort of end goal look is really.
I don't know, man. I'm going to start by saying this: like, whatever your reason for playing Airsoft, however you play it, is amazing. Like, I have no judgment apart from HPA players. We'll get on to them. I have no negative words to say about anyone, however they play their Airsoft, whether they want to go dressed as a robot with a minigun or whether they want to go dressed as John Wick and run around with a pistol. Great. If you're having fun, crack on. I literally couldn't care less. I'll run with you all day long if you're having fun dressed as John Wick. I'm not that type of guy that's into the snobbery side of it too much, apart from HBO, which we'll get onto. I'm not really into the snobbery. Like, whoever's playing Airsoft, as long as you're enjoying it, do it however you want to do it. 100%. I just love that LARP side of it. I absolutely love it. I'm not the guy that will go out and buy the real plate carrier and run around with plates inside it. I think that's a bit too far for me. Props to the guys that do that. Great. It's just a bit too far for me. I just like the style. I like that Milsim style. I like the Battle Sim style gameplay. I like the Battle Sim and Milsim style look. It's just the thing that I go for. I'm certainly not trying to copy any military units. I'm not a veteran in any way, shape or form. I haven't served any time in any type of service like that. So I'm not trying to copy any unit. With all the respect in the world.
Stolen valor here.
Yeah, no, not a chance. Like, I'm just trying to do my little thing and just enjoy it. And I think we're probably going to brush onto this in a minute. Making yourself feel good in the way that you look goes a long way to making your day more enjoyable, I think. Some people don't care how they look. Some people go in jeans and a black t-shirt and carry around a spare mag in their pocket and bomb around with a dye mask on. Great. Can't fault you at all. But I just like to feel like I've got the stuff on, I'm looking good to myself, you know. Someone might look at me and think I'm a complete idiot. That's fine, don't care. But to me, I feel good, I feel like I look good, and that helps your day, doesn't it? If you feel good in the day.
Again, it comes back to, you get what you want out of the Airsoft day. And for me, you know, if you're going as John Wick, you're clearly trying to tick a box of the immersion that you want to get into it. I know obviously different people turn up and wear certain types of camo. Certain people like to wear certain. Obviously, we've got Pete in the team, not your mate Snake, but Pete Grizzly Pete likes to do the Obi-Wan Nairobi, and it just helps with that sort of immersion on the day. And I've always been a massive advocate, and I'll definitely get a £10 fine here from some of the lads in the team. I still stand by the statement that Airsoft has the ability to be the ultimate escapism in any shape or form, and that's, you know, you can turn up and dress as Mr. Blobby for all I care. The only caveat I have is as soon as the whistle goes or the siren goes or the klaxon goes and we're playing that game, you need to be playing the game. That's my only stipulation.
Yeah.
for it as,
Yeah, I agree.
messing about in the safe zone, wherever. But once the game starts because you have a duty of care for every single other person that's on that site. I have a duty of care to make sure everybody else is in during the day, the same as anybody who wants to turn up and do that type of thing. But then I also think that Airsoft as a community, and with the amount of different sites, there's a little bit of everything for everybody. Obviously, we're both from pretty much the same neck of the woods, so we're quite lucky in the fact that we've got quite a few good sites that are in decent community. And obviously, Outpost, we attend quite regular. 6 Mil, which I know you absolutely love. Again, obviously helping with the immersion, obviously with the game areas and all that sort of stuff. But then we've also got, you've got indoor sites that aren't a million miles away that do, you can go and do Nuketown and stuff like that and stuff. It's a little bit of something for everybody, really. And that's, I think we're extremely lucky. We just need to harness it a little bit more, I think, as a community, and get out and do more. I mean, you touched on, you sampled Airsoft and then went away and then come back, and obviously trying different things. But now, obviously, getting out and seeing different sites, I always think that's one of the great parts of Airsoft is you can go and see so many different venues. Like, my worst nightmare would be turning up and playing the same venue week in, week out.
No, I couldn't do that.
There's so many different things. I understand the stipulations if obviously you need to be home for whatever time or whatever, but I love getting out and trying different sites and seeing how they develop and different gameplay and different surroundings and different
My
things.
mate Pete and I spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, how he was saying that, because obviously we started playing with however you want to call it, joined the chickens.
Yeah.
How do you remember what it was? Earlier this year, wasn't it, at some point? I don't remember.
Summer?
Yeah, start of summer. Let's say it was then.
Yeah.
Up until then, I think we'd only played Outpost.
Mm-hmm.
I might have played a couple at the indoor site in Hanley, done a couple of nights there, but I think we'd only played Outpost. Pete and I were saying last week how we're so lucky and grateful that we joined with the Headless Chickens, because I love Outpost. It's an amazing site. I'm not trying to knock it at all. For a walk-on site, I think it's one of the best you could ever go to.
It's in my top 3.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely. But we'd still only be playing there. But being with you guys, we've played loads of different sites now all over the place, and it's given us that variety of, you're not playing against the same faces on the same layout, and you know exactly where to go, you know what to do. It gives you that variety of moving around to different styles of Airsoft, whether it be more fast-paced CQB or it's a 200-acre woodland. It gives you that scope to go and do all these different type of games and expand your own abilities as well, I suppose, make yourself a better player. And it's really good that we've got so much around us that you can do all these different things. I think people definitely need to. I mean, some people are going to be happy playing the same site the rest of their life. I've met a few of those type of people before, and that's great if they're just happy there. But I think everyone should go and just try a few different sites and just get their feet out there a little bit.
Yeah. I think there's more sites out there than people give themselves credit for, and that's probably one of my only cry out to sort of site owners is get a little bit more marketing out there and done, like move the times. Like, there's so many great sites that just don't do social media very well. And I know obviously there's restrictions on Facebook and Meta and all that sort of stuff. You can still navigate it by being clever and different things like that. And there's so many places that you just cry out and you turn up and they've got low numbers. You think the site could do really, really well if they could market themselves a little bit better, because it's got everything. Some of them have got great layouts, great local community team in terms of players. I mean, some of them have created their own straw, they've run for their own back basically. But some of them have got some great opportunities, and I just hope that they harness that well and obviously move forward with it, because again, the people behind them are great and stuff like that as well. So, in terms of staying on the laugh a little bit, obviously it's either you or Adam Storm that got harnessed the 20 gameplay 80% Gucci. Is that
100%.
Are you taking claim for that, or Adam?
Adam's definitely taking claim for the Gucci side of things. I'm a big advocate that it's 20% gameplay and 80% how you feel and how you look.
Okay.
Well, I have days where my gameplay ability is like 3%. Because Either I'm in pain because I've been playing all day, or whatever it is. But I'm like, no, let's just sort myself out a little bit. Oh, look, all right, there we go. Let's carry on.
Yeah. What's your current favourite bit of kit that definitely doesn't enhance your gameplay? Just
I know what
you
you're
feel good
getting
when
at
you got
here.
it on.
I know what
What's
you're
that?
getting at. I know my favourite bit of gear that doesn't enhance my gameplay. Is that what you're
I'm not
asking
even
me?
going to get on. I'm not even going to get onto the thing that lets your BBs out. I'm not even going to get onto
We're
that.
not even getting onto that one. So what's my favourite
Not
thing?
yet. Not yet. Not
All
yet.
right. So what's my
There's a long
favourite bit
time
of
to go
gear that
yet.
doesn't enhance my gameplay that isn't that?
Yeah.
Man, plate carrier. Probably, off the top of my head.
So what plate
Completely.
carrier do you run then? And obviously, what
So
have
I've
you?
got Repro Ferro FCPC plate carrier
Mhm.
with a back panel. And then I've got some real steel Agilite stuff on there. A load of other crap that I probably don't need on there. But it looks cool, man.
Does look. I love those
Cool.
plastic. I love
It
those
looks
yellow
cool.
plastic handcuffs you've got. They're cool. They are.
Yeah, little plastic cuffs and everything. It just looks cool. I mean, I ran a chest rig before that, and it did exactly the same job for me. And it
Yeah.
weighed an eighth of what my plate carrier weighs. Did the same thing. But I just like the plate carrier. It looks cool. It
Yeah.
makes me
Definitely.
feel good. I don't know. I just like it, and it's almost completely pointless for airsoft, isn't it? We all know that. You don't need it.
Yeah.
But it's that laugh. It's making yourself feel good. And
Okay.
80% fine.
That's what you currently have. What would be the one item you would like to get that would enhance your Gucci-ness rather than your gameplay?
Night vision goggles, man.
Yeah. Have you
NVG.
done much research into them or?
Yeah. No idea.
No.
I see loads of words flying around, mate, and I see different people saying this is what I run. I'm in a couple of Airsoft WhatsApp groups, Gucci gear WhatsApp groups and things like that. And I've got a mate of mine, actually, Rob, who's just sold 2 sets of night vision to a guy who's going to Ukraine. And I look at it and I'm going, that's really cool. And Falcon Claw on Instagram, if you don't follow those guys in Sweden or somewhere, those guys are incredible. Like, yeah, give me 20 grand. Set of nods with a thermal. Yeah, that's it. I'm never ever going to use it. Never.
No. Right. I only know one guy. He's actually local to us, Andy Lowe, that's got a $5,000 recording thermal scope, and I always look at it and think, mate. To be fair, having said that, he was on my team at the Rumble in the Jungle event, and it was actually great having him on there to spot trouble at distance. But using it on a
I love the
standard
thermal
skirmish
on some
day
days.
is I'll have to have a word with him on that. But
Yeah, I mean,
it's
going
just
outposts with a thermal vision, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a bit pointless, isn't it? But like battle sims, mil sims, 100% useful. Like if I'd have had a thermal scope from me last weekend, it would have helped no end.
Mhm.
And then for the last hour of the day, the night vision would have been great as well for the last hour of the day. Pointless, but it would have been great.
There's a line where I completely get it. If people are getting fully immersed in and they only play milsims on the break like constantly, then fair enough. But your standard skirmisher that's tearing up for gameplay and things like that, yeah, it's definitely not in there. It's definitely not in there. Before we get into the big debate on power sources, for those that want to read between the lines of what we're talking about,
No debate, let's be honest.
you're correct. There is no debate. Talk to me about the whole photography and stuff like that. Obviously, I've been graced or been lucky enough to have a little bit of a one-to-one shoot with you, fully clothed.
Yeah,
I might add.
fortunately.
I know you're quite. I don't know if I do that. Are you reluctant to bring your skill set from the angling world into airsoft, or where are you
Question.
at with that? Is that?
It's a really good question, actually. I joined Airsoft 90% because my lad. Dad and lad time. But I also joined it because my past 10 years, I mean, I've been a fisherman all my life since I was 3 years old. It's not like I've only been fishing 10 years. But for the past decade, nearly a decade, my angling life has been surrounded by a camera. All the time. Like, every time I was anything to do with fishing, I had a camera with me at all times. And that goes from, it all started when I was making YouTube videos. I was just a little lowly YouTuber making fishing videos. That's how it all started. So I was always videoing everything, then I was photographing everything, and then I started doing some work in the angling trade. So then I'd have to have more photography and more videography. So I never went fishing. For 10 years, I never went fishing without a camera. And I was fishing most weekends. I never just went fishing. And now, we won't get into it too much, but my love for fishing now has dropped off like an absolute... It's just gone. I don't like Congo, but it's just gone. And that's partially down to that, I suppose. I was too obsessed with the work side of it, like I was obsessed with working in the fishing industry with the camera. Absolutely obsessed with it. And I think that was part I didn't have, even though it was my love and my hobby and everything was combined and it was the best time in the world, it was the best job I could have ever had, I didn't have a break from it. So 10% of coming into Airsoft was like, it's just me playing Airsoft. I haven't got to worry about an Instagram profile. I haven't got to worry about their Instagram profile or that sponsorship deal or what they require of me or what the images I have to portray for that company. I haven't got to worry about, my YouTube channel. So there's just none of that. It's just coming in, playing Airsoft with no care about having to do anything else with it. It was just a hobby. But then creeps in all the time, doesn't it? when you just can't, I can't get out of it. I'm a worse person for myself because I think I've been playing Airsoft in the past 12 months. I think we've been playing a month and a half and I made an Instagram profile. Couldn't not do it because it's literally my life's been social media for 10 years. I couldn't not do it. And then
it's a skill set as well, isn't it? That it comes through, and it is one of those things that you can't ignore it. And if you enjoy it, that's the thing. But it's then obviously finding, like going back to what you're saying about angling, finding that line between what is fun and then where does the professional angle of it come into it? Where do you draw the line?
I find it really hard to put that line. I'm the same with everything. As soon as I start doing something, I jump in with both feet and my camera. I can't help myself. It's just my personality trait. It's my little tism, if you like. It's who I am. I can't help myself. If I do something, I'll spend 3 weeks reading every single bit of documentation there is to do with that, and I'll make sure that I am literally perfect on everything to do with it, and I know everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll get my camera out and I'll be like, right, well, let's just go to work now because now I'm going to make a career out of this as well. I can't stop it. And I'm really hesitant. I mean, you've seen it with me, like every time now. I'll take my camera to every game day now. And I'll do my little safe zone shoot and I'll do, at lunchtime, I'm not going to have any lunch and chill out. Who wants to go and take some photos in the game zone? Hey, off we go. I can't help it. And then this weekend coming up, I can't play and I'm like, I'm going to go and take pictures of everyone now. Right, here we go.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it is a difficult one, especially when if it's something that comes naturally to you, you enjoy doing it. Then there's obviously a fine line to it, but then it's again where is that line?
Yeah,
you mentioned earlier the on the pod about obviously trying to create a brand and obviously what you want to try and do and ingrain yourself in the community. It's when me and Paul first came up with the idea of having the headless chickens, it was literally just to help us go and push some objectives. And then you then try and put a bit of a spin on it. I said, look, I'm doing it, but I'm not running around with the name Headless Chicken Squad unless we've got a nice logo and it's branded up well and there's a serious element to it. And then people want to come along for the ride, which taught us really that's what Airsoft was asking for. Like, we're only listening to what the community were asking for. There's a lot of people out there that enjoy playing Airsoft, but they love the team aspect to it. But then for some reason, team aspect is frowned upon in the sport, we find, or there always seems to be some weird rule like, you can only wear fucking multicam, or you've got to wear this and you can only use a Tokyo Marine 416 and all this sort of stuff that we were basically just, there's plenty of them. But then we get to the point now where I was speaking to Paul earlier today, like we're getting to the point where we're having to not go to some sites because we ruin game days, not because we're doing anything wrong, but like, we turn up as a team, they're going, well, you can't play together. Well, we're not an events management company. We're not here to fill your event with players. We're there. We want to come and play ourselves.
I've experienced that first time with the team, and just for anyone listening, that isn't Simon bragging about how good the team is as a player. It's just a fact. Like, when we go as a team, and there's a fair few of us, it normally is pretty much a wipe day. You can't. It's tough when you're all worked as a cohesive unit, and you go to a normal walk-on site. You have to book online too, or whatever it is. But if you go with 15 of us guys, and then there's 20 other walk-on guys that don't know each other, they're the best mate for a giggle. It just doesn't work.
But it's not fun for us either. Do you know what I mean? Yep. It's one of those things where, Paul's obviously having to have conversations with site owners during the week and things like that to manage that. That isn't what we are just a bunch of guys that want to turn up and go and have a skirmish on a weekend, and we are very mindful of that. And what I predicted 6 months ago pretty much happened this weekend. We had a presence at Rednall in decent numbers. We had a presence at Optac in decent numbers. We had a presence at Outpost with more than one person there. And then we had a presence at PTC, all because, we're conscious of not taking too many somewhere, but then also different people want to go and do different parts of what's going on, really. And that's obviously where we're at with that. And it's that finding that fine line of, and then people are saying to us, oh, do you want to come and run event days and do your own private event days and stuff like that? It's like, that isn't where we're at and what we're trying to do at all. So it's obviously at that bit of a crossroad from that, really. And then we are still picking up people like yourself. We just pick up people naturally because of the way we are on game days, and people come spending some time with us. And I'd like to think we're a bit of a family.
Yeah, definitely.
It is obviously fun from that point of view, but yeah, it's finding that line between how much time do you dedicate to it and what is passion, what is not. And I experience it all the time. The amount of people that give me stick going, what you're trying to do and all that sort of stuff. Like, these podcasts are my going to the pub. That's it. It's my way of chatting shit about airsoft. What's the time? I gave season 1 a bit of a wide berth starting season 2 because I got let down so much. The amount of time I'd sit here on a Tuesday or a Wednesday night waiting to film with somebody, and the other person on the end would be like, oh shit, I forgot. And it's like, well, you just give up my Wednesday evening or whatever. It's really difficult, really. But it's finding that line. And who knows, I might sit here in 4 months' time and be eating my words because I've ended up doing something different, or it's taken a different tangent. But yeah, it is a fine line going from a passion, something you enjoy doing, into then, well, let's make a leap. But then once you start taking money off people or commitments to things, it then, as you said about angling, it goes off in a different direction.
Yeah, it's a completely different ballgame.
It's a different thing from there. So yeah, it's obviously keeping that line from there. So
yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to do at the minute. I'm sort of hesitating quite a lot. Like, there's loads of amazing photographers in the airsoft world. There's so many of them. You see it every day on Instagram. Some of the work at the pub now is incredible. And I keep on looking at it and thinking, piece of this, I want to start showing my stuff off now. Come on, let's go. Let's start to introduce some of my work.
But this is the thing. I don't even think you're trying. I don't. No. I've seen you do it. I think you just.
Well, I haven't done one proper shoot yet with anyone. We've done lunchtime shoots. Let's go out at lunchtime and just take some pictures while we're having a sandwich or whatever.
Yeah.
But we haven't done a shoot yet.
I'm booking Jens Sunday then for a Halloween shoot. I keep seeing all the ones that everybody else has been doing. I don't think we'll beat the Airsoft Project and Dan Airsoft Pumpkin. That is good, that, isn't it? So
yeah, it's good.
Having said that, if you've seen the size of my head, you'd need 3 or 4 pumpkins. So right. Before you start getting drawn on things to do with photography and making statements that I might hold you to, let's get to the part of the pod that I know you're itching to get to. Come on then. What's your preferred power source? I'll just sit back and let you rant on.
You literally just so, right, I'm in it for the laugh, right? I'm in it for the realism. It's gas flowback, isn't it? All day long. I absolutely love it. There's a time and a place for it. 100% there's a time and a place for it.
If realism is staring at the ground because it broke again, then welcome to realism.
I ran my Toxicant all day at the weekend and didn't have one issue with it at all. It was absolutely flawless. Every single BB it put out was perfect, didn't have one issue with it. A couple of mags didn't feel right, but the gun itself was absolutely flawless. Now, doesn't mean that it was the best gun of the day by any stretch. If I'd have run an AEG on that day, I'd have done a lot better. You're limited with the gas blowback, especially different game days, different sites. There's a time and a place for it. I mean, I was at a battle sim at the weekend, and there was a few of the chickens there, but me and my lad were the only chickens on my team. The rest of them were all on the other team, and they trounced us. Their team absolutely trounced us on the day. They just did. It's not something I can hide away from. We got absolutely trounced. There was HPA guys in there. We had quite a few gas blowback guys in our team. I think they might have had some as well. I'm not sure, but I don't think we had any HPA in our team. And I know for a fact that 2 or 3 of our guys were running HPA in that team, and then there was some more as well. And when you're running a gas blowback against a HPA, you're not going to win. You can't win that fight.
You're getting outgunned, don't you?
You can't control the fight. You can't suppress. You can't do anything at all. You're basically if you're running a gas blowback at this time of year, you're almost running a DMR. You're never going to use full auto. You rarely will anyway. So you're pretty much on semi all the time on 33 round mags, 34 round mags. It feels good. The LARP, you're there, and it's immersive. It's great. Mag changes, everything about it is amazing. But for winning the day, on a day like that, it's almost impossible. And to be fair, I only ran that because my AEG was down. I would have run my AEG, but it was down. But it's gas blowback's my favourite all the way through, just for that realism. Seconded by AEG, I think AEG is the staple. I think you can have as much fun with an AEG almost as a gas blowback, unless you're using high cap mags. High cap mags. Unless you're using high cap mags, if you're using med caps or even real caps in an AEG, amazing. You can have some really good fun. And then you've got that guy, or the 20 guys on our team who've all got Wolverines, a stupid hose hanging out the pistol grip, going to a big bottle of crap on the back. High cap mag.
Like a breath of fresh air.
Like a pain in the... Man, HPA's got its time, hasn't it? I mean, HPA, personally, just don't.
It's the future. I will say this about gas blowback is, this is my own thoughts on it. If it was more reliable, I would look at it. My only downside to it is, for a standard skirmish day, magazines aren't enough. You can't play... You can play Milsim with it, that's fair enough. But if I was going to run one, these are my main problems. Cost of buying a reliable gas blowback is astronomical. And if I was doing it, I would... But it doesn't break. And then if I was going to do it, I would then have to run an adapter or whack a tap at it with a to get the realism of... And I don't even think it's real. If you've ever been to Dubai or Vegas or Poland or wherever, they are not anything like... They're not real. That's my genuine feel on it.
No,
the kitback isn't the same. So
not even remotely. But in the UK, it's about as close you're going to get.
Yeah.
And in Airsoft, it's as close you're going to get.
Yeah. I mean, I've got gas blowback pistols and I've HPA'd them, and that's about as close to... Because I'm sick of the magazines breaking. I'm sick of the problems. You're halfway through, you go to an engagement, you've just spent 25 minutes fighting through the woodland to get to this one moment, and you go, no.
That's why you carry a knife.
It's a long way walk back, and it's also... If you're the sort of person like me who's patient to a point, it's different. That's my main thing. I think the idea of them is great, but the practicality is
I sort of get I'm definitely going to be playing some gas blowback only games next year, 100%. Just gas, so everyone's on the same playing field, and then the day will be amazing. because you won't just have some guy with a high cap in a HPA Wolverine just like just hosing down everyone. You're like,
Gilling
well,
up in a bush. Yeah.
yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think that like I wouldn't run it at a walk-on site. I have done, and it was a pain. It was horrible. Don't get me wrong.
I've
I
actually
run it on
seen
Sunday with
people quit
12
the sport
mags.
because
I
of
was
this.
carrying 12 gas blowback mags on me on Sunday, all day. And it's just a struggle, man. I've tried to run it at 6mm in the morning game, that 2-hour game. You can do it, but you don't feel like you're a useful part of any team. You're just there for your own
You can't
enjoyment.
engage, can you? That's the difference. You
No,
can't engage. You might as well
can't.
just stick a vest on and marshal.
Yeah, so there's a time and a place for it. And this is where it's that personal thing, isn't it? If you want to go to 6mm and play that 2-hour game in the morning, running around your gas blowback and having your own little great time, amazing. Do what you want to do, have your own fun. But you're going to have to then realise that you're going to get pissed off all day because you're going to get getting beamed by a Wolverine guy sat in a bush somewhere in a ghillie suit. It's just going to happen and you can't do anything about it. You can't put enough fire down through that bush to ensure that you take him out before he gets you, because you're just not going to be able to.
Yeah. You might win the fight, but then you can't hit the second wave, can you? That's the thing. You're not going to hold somewhere down or whatever, or suppress. That's the biggest different thing. But that said, then when you get your HPA,
I have been tempted to get an attack shotgun shell adapter for it.
Yeah.
So I've still got that realism LARP with the 30 rounds. But I don't know. I'm running it on map gas and propane at the minute, and it seems to be running amazingly. So we'll see how it goes when it gets a bit colder.
It is the most mild October on record.
Yeah,
so.
Not exactly cold, is it? I think for the amount that I'm going to be out over the winter outdoors, I think there's going to be a few more indoor games. I think for the amount I'm going to be outside, just from the AG, I'll try and run it. I've been trying this new thing. Gas blowback users out there, listen up. There's going to be loads of you agreeing with me on this one. So I've been taking my gas bottles and gas mags in a cool bag with me to the site, because obviously a cool bag keeps things hot as well if they're hot, and they'll keep things cool if they're cool. It works both ways. So I tried it with a hot water bottle in, and then put all the gas bottles and my gas mags in there, and it was too hot, to be fair. It warmed it up too much. So at the weekend, it's a mild weekend. It wasn't cold by any stretch. I think when we woke up, it was 2 or 3 degrees when we woke up. It was cold, but it was a clear, bright day. But I just took everything in a cool bag, and when I got there, I was filling everything up and going through the chrono and trying on the shooting range. It was amazing. There was no cold mags. Like I've been at sites before where people have got the gas blowback mags in cups of hot water trying to warm them up, and that's just not fun. So yeah, cool bags. I'm trying that one in a minute. Yeah,
good. It might be worth sticking, rather than being too hot, like the disposable hand warmers and those silicone shells.
That's it.
To keep any of the moisture and stuff out.
I was speaking to someone, I think I remember who it was, but I'm not going to quote the name in case I'm wrong, but they were looking at coming up with a placard for a plate carrier with 3 and 4 mag placard, but it had a pouch in to put those hand warmers in for gas blowback mags.
There's one on AliExpress.
Is there?
I was looking today because I've actually... I did actually tell you this last night on WhatsApp, but you ignored me. I've actually gone and got a back panel similar to yours, not the same.
Oh yes, I did read that and then completely ignored it. You're right.
With the YKK zip adapter. To do that, because I'm going to be running over the winter twin HPA bottles, because I'm going to run Gabrielle on one pressure and then the MCL and MCW on the other one.
Of course you are.
That's the best way to do it. Reliability is key. Do you know what I mean? If it was like that, that advert where people go, the door closes like a golf.
Yeah.
My MCW closes doors like a golf.
Yeah, to be fair, they are impeccably well made. That thing of Paul's, what is it? Heretic? What is it?
He's got an Article 1.
Absolutely.
Heretic Labs one, yeah.
That's it. That thing. It's amazing. It's accurate. It's light. Everything is amazing about it. And I'm going to say this completely open-heartedly, and Paul will hate me for it. When you shoot it, it feels dead.
Nothing happens. There's 0 recoil. It's literally...
It's not even a recoil. It's just...
like a metagun on...
you're holding a piece of paper and doing that. There's nothing. It looks great. It's so accurate. The range is... everything about it, functionality-wise, is the best you will ever see. But to me, I shot it and I was like, oh, it's really good. But yeah,
It's good though. Win a
peak
lot of
game.
games with it.
Yeah,
The thing, what he's done with that is he's obviously basically turned it into an MTW. He'll hate me for saying it, but basically with the handrail he's put on it and different things like that, it's basically taken a standard article one standard, but then he's upgraded it that much.
oh, it's
But
amazing.
again, but that's Paul's argument will always be practicality over other things. He's looking for that different thing. Like, I thought I was a competitive person.
No, and he has made, without a doubt, in my opinion, the best functioning airsoft gun I've ever seen.
Mhm.
Just is. It's absolutely flawless. There's no way to deny how good that airsoft gun is in the way it works. I just don't think it has a soul.
No.
Personally, I'm not saying that in a mean way. It's an amazing gun, but I'm a gas blowback guy.
Yeah.
When I pull the trigger, it goes chunk, and something happens, and a load of gas flies in your face, and a BB pulls out the end. That's what I like.
Yeah, no. But again, it comes back to what you said right at the beginning. People getting out of it what they want at different times, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%,
and stuff like that. So it's good from that. So since we've obviously done the debate on HPA and it wins, you mentioned this obviously when we did the pre call. We're going to do a quick fire. Last person I did this was with Pete, and apparently went down an absolute storm. So
really?
I have absolutely nothing determined.
With Pete, who's Pete?
Grizzly, the other really short person in the team, other than Adam. The reason I haven't pre-done this is literally up until about 25 minutes before we started recording, I was putting together a glitter catwalk. So yeah, that's the other side of my life. Not fishing, but it's the other side of my life. That
you can tell you play with glitter when you're on a HPA gun, can't you?
At least it comes out of it. That'll be the next thing Paul's got coming out of his. It'll be like green glitter flying out every time he gets a kill. Or it'll just be green glitter coming out of his ears every time a sniper doesn't take the hit. I can't believe that last week his one question to Kicking Mustang was, why don't all ghillies take hits? I was like, I can't really say that. It's a bit of a generalist question.
It is very true, though.
If you're a ghillie and you're watching this and you call your hits, please feel free to comment in. I'm not speaking on behalf of everybody to say that you all don't take your hits.
Can I expand on my question? The question I asked you to ask Kicking Mustang. Now I've got my own voice on this platform. Can I voice it on here as well?
Yeah, go ahead.
Brilliant. So, I don't like bushwalkies. I just don't like them. Like, I get it, and you enjoying it. You have your fun, boo. You go and hide in that roadie bush. You enjoy yourself. I don't mind that at all. Just don't like them personally. But what really gets me is when a guy's wearing a ghillie suit and he's covered his tape on his ankle because they don't want to ruin his camouflage with his team colours, so he'll cover it up on his ankle, but he's running around with an AEG M4. Like, I hate it. Like, if you're wearing a ghillie suit, you should have to have a sniper rifle. Just flat out.
If you watched last week's episode.
Yeah.
So, there you go. I don't ask it outright, but it's actually already alluded to in the rules for Rumble and Jungle 2. You can only run a ghillie. You can wear a Cobra hood, but you can only wear a ghillie if you are a proper DMR or bolt action sniper at that game. And also, you can wear a Cobra, but you've also got to have your armbands on. Good. You can't just hide it and stuff like that. And then, only if you're running a proper LMG can you have full auto. Everything else is on single.
Yeah, good. That's how it should be. I just hate that ghillie. It's the ghillie suit abuse, isn't it? That's all it is.
Yeah, but 95% of the time, that tends to happen at either a standard skirmish day or I think, having said that, it happened at Rumble and Jungle. Amount of times I got lit up by a full auto MTW from a tree. It was like, you just can't see it. But
to be fair, at battle sims and stuff, it won't happen. It won't happen at battle sims.
No, there's stipulations.
But at certain sites, one of my favourite sites, I'll say it quite openly, 6mm. I love that site. And the amount of guys, it's not loads, I'm probably over-exaggerating, but there's definitely a few ghillies that go there that just run around the ghillie suit with the 4 auto M4. I'm sure I've seen one with a saw as well with an LMG. There's a ghillie suit.
Yeah, it's definitely a place for the LARP, old 6mm. I was actually talking to Paul about it. 6mm reminds me of the place. You know, when you watch those social media videos, and there's a guy who's usually on like a building site, he wears glasses and he's got like a scruffy haircut, and it'll be him like stood in his kitchen, looking out the window, pretending to look at somebody's clip of a video, and it'd be like some bloke dropping it, some other thing, and he'll go, and then it'll look over there for something they do on gym videos.
Yeah,
That's
I did one of them.
That's I'm going to do one of them next time I go 6mm. I'm going to do one recording me listening to Joe's game brief, looking around at all the different types of people that have turned up.
Yeah,
it'd be a class video. I mean, the safety brief's long enough to do a full video. We could probably edit it while we're waiting as well. So that's probably the only thing. Let's get a shorter game brief.
It is the joke of going to 6mm. The safety brief is massive. I get it, but from Joe's point of view, man, I mean, I can't imagine what his insurance is like. I can only imagine how bad his insurance is and how he is dotting every I and crossing every T because he knows.
I don't actually think it's insurance. I think it's his background. I don't know what his job in the police was, but it was something to do with assessing risk.
No.
Yeah. So I think that's just the way he is inclined. Yeah. He is that sort of type of person.
I mean, it's his site. He can do if he wants to do a long safety brief, he can do it. So it's his site, isn't it? Yeah. It is what it is.
It doesn't help when you've got people like Adam interrupting him to make shit jokes halfway through it either. So so it doesn't matter.
Yes. Anyway,
as long as he keeps knocking up great game zones, he can make his game brief as long as he wants.
Best game zone I've ever played at.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's very good.
I don't know how you can beat 6mm a game zone. I genuinely don't. I think it's absolutely incredible. Love it.
No, it is very, very, very good. Right.
Go on.
Quick fire. So I'll start off nice and easy on you, right? Because I already know the answer to this one. Gas blowback or head?
Come on, man.
Okay. Paintball or airsoft?
Airsoft.
Fishing or airsoft?
Airsoft right now.
Okay. Adam or snake?
What for?
Airsoft.
For airsoft?
Yeah.
Not anal. Anal, snake, airsoft, Adam.
Okay, good. You've added an extra question in there.
There you go. What, that pink or brown? What?
That's why they call it a shocker. You've knocked me off my thing now. Camo, multicam or any other variant?
Any other variant.
Okay. 6mm or optic?
As a site, 6mm.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at the site.
Okay, cool. Indoor or outdoor?
Buildings outdoor? Outdoor.
Outdoor. Okay, cool. Where we're going to go here. Last one. I'm trying to think of a controversial one that might catch you out here.
You're only going to screw yourself by making me answer something controversial, let's be honest, Simon.
No, I'm not.
I've been very timid during this podcast. I think I've been very well behaved.
Yeah, disappointing, really.
Sorry.
Photo or video?
Photo.
While we're on that, why? Yeah. Because in 2024, most would say video.
Print, give me a print. Give me a printed photograph. Something that I can touch and I can feel the ink on and I can look at it and I can see the depth on a piece of photographic paper all day long. Video's great. I make a lot of money out of video. It's part of my job. You know, it's fantastic. It has a place and it has a job, but nothing. Just give me photos any day. I do both, but I love taking a good photo, man. And seeing something in print as well. You can't see video in print, obviously, but seeing a picture in print, you know, print ain't dead and all that. Old school magazines with nice prints in, you can't beat it.
No. I've got two final questions for you. They're not quite fire. You can embellish on these as much as you want.
Don't say that.
What does the next 12 months of Jon and Airsoft look like?
Can't say too much. There's some big plans coming, Simon, that not many people know about. I've sort of dropped myself in a little bit there now because people are going to be expecting something. Hopefully, there's one or two plans coming. Hopefully.
Yeah. I was asking more about Jon the player, not Jon
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I mean, I'm trying to keep a divide, like the bearded BB thing, my little Instagram profile. That isn't me. Like, I'm Woody. The bearded BB is just a play on people who have a beard that play airsoft. That's all that is. It's a play on bearded airsoft players. Like, I'm Woody. That's me. And I'm trying to keep those two separate, even though it's my profile and there's pictures of me on there. That whole thing I'm trying to keep separately. So me as a player, more battle sims, more mill sims, more great games with the chickens, more fun with friends, more laughs, more sarcasm, more banter. Yeah, me as a player, 100% more fun. It's just about fun and bantering it with your mates. That's all it's about.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Where obviously this isn't the second question. Obviously, you're saying obviously more games, more mill sims, stuff like that. Is there anywhere that you've seen on the landscape that you quite fancy playing?
That I haven't played before, or that I have played?
Yes, that you've not played.
The Goal, Warzone, is it? It's Warzone
at Coventry. I think if you like Outposts, I think you genuinely would like that. I've not played the Ghoul myself, but I've heard ridiculously mixed reviews. But
I've got a couple of sites that are like,
myself.
Yeah, there's a couple of sites that are like your dream sites, like I'm going to screw the name now because I can't think off the top of my head. That island where they do the
Drake's Island.
Drake's Island, that's the one. That's a dream location, but that's stopped now, hasn't it? I think.
It's up for sale, so we can still get down there.
Maybe that's what coming from me next. Maybe I'm going to buy Drake's Island and turn it into an airsoft home. I don't know.
The Bearded Island.
Bearded Island. What's the other one? It's skipped my head now. But yeah, there's a couple of sites that I look at that I'm like, wow, yeah, they look amazing. But more games, 6 mil, Optac, where I played last weekend. I haven't played there for ages, and that's massive. Some of the structures there now are incredible. So I'll be playing there a lot next year, I think, on their battle sims and their events that they've got coming up. The other Rumble in the Jungle. That, I really want to go to that, although that is on my missus' birthday weekend, which is going to be an awkward one. But yeah, so those type of events, definitely.
Yeah.
And then just whatever sites the chickens go to as well, man. Wherever sites we end up going to.
Yeah, I think we've got some new sites to add to the roster because I think we're taking a few off, giving off what I said earlier on the pod from there. Okay, final question then. I think this is going to be my signature final question for everybody. There's one thing about Airsoft that you would change, that you think it would make a significant change for the better. What would it be?
Can I say ban HPA? Is that allowed?
I said it have to be something that would make it better. Not worse.
Much better. Something that would make it better. It's got to be that toxicity thing, isn't it, that we touched on at the very start. It's got to be a way to remove that. And you know what? Controversially, maybe not controversially, Kicking Mustang put out a little video about it, about the levels of who controls what in airsoft and the toxicity, where it comes from, where it flows from. Certain site owners that maybe aren't very nice, flowing down to certain influential people that might follow the same sort of mindset. I think removing that from the hobby sport, whatever you want to call it. It's a sport, isn't it? Because it involves energy. It's a sport. So I think removing that from it is a big part of the toxicity. That whatever you think about Kicking Mustang, I'm not talking about him specifically. I'm just talking about the type of thing that he mentions. The structure of who's in charge of what and the influence that they have politically in the airsoft world, should we say, that needs to be squashed out. No, it just shouldn't happen. Like, we're all in it the same. We're all battling the greater good, which is the government and the laws, against everyone trying to stop airsoft as it is. The last thing we need is for it to implode and for it to hurt itself.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I agree wholeheartedly with you. I don't think that the toxicity is as big as it would like to think that it is. Those that love operating with the toxicity, I don't think they carry as much credence as it is. Because one thing, the counter argument to being ingrained in the community more is you realise just how vast that community is. And how much the toxicity always appears to be the same 15, 20 names that appear in the same WhatsApp groups, the same Facebook groups, but they don't appear anywhere else. Like I always find Instagram is almost toxic free. Yeah, there's a few more drama queens and faces in there, but I think it seems to be a bit more of a generation thing. You don't tend to see as many speed softers and younger people on Facebook groups.
Yeah, I'll agree.
But you do see a lot of the older guard.
Yeah, I'll tend to agree with that actually. So I'm going to revert on that a little bit. Seems as there isn't maybe not as much toxicity as you would imagine there is. I'm going to revert to my first answer of no more HBA.
Okay, don't worry. There is an edit button.
I'm going to start some vicious rumours about the Wolverine companies.
You better not. Because I'm lining up Mr. Wolverine as a guest on this show. So
are you? I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy.
He is. I'm sure he is. So,
sure
any shout outs you want to give out to anybody? This is your chance since I've given you the platform.
Any shout outs to anyone? My goodness. Any shout outs to anyone? What, like,
if
I don't know.
Your lad doesn't get a shout out here, he's going to be raging.
He doesn't deserve a shout out, mate. You'd have to live with him.
Cheesy boy.
No, he's a legend. He's an absolute legend, my lad, isn't he? He's a really good airsoft player now as well. He's matured massively in the sport, I think. Every time we play somewhere, someone's always like, your lad's solid. Like, he's really, he's a great player. He's really polite. He takes he takes more hits than he should do in the way that the BB-33, and you're like, oh, I'll take it because it was close to me. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, he's an absolute legend. Yeah, so no, much love to him. Any shout outs to anyone else? Ads, good old Ads on the team, Storm. He's an absolute love, isn't he? He deserves a shout out.
Yes, if you're watching Adam, you will see this tomorrow when it goes out. I will probably have delivered your hoodie by the time that you see this.
Finally, after 12 months.
Because I'm booked in to pick it up at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, Ad is a legend. Absolutely love him to bits. Really nice guy. Great player. Great teammate. And his banter level is the same as mine, which is quite hard to find someone with that level of dark humour.
Yeah. Dark humour being the to be fair, it's really good to see within the group as well, to be fair, because it brings people with you.
Yeah. And pushes some people away as well.
People can take what they want from that. It's just how it is. I just think it's one of them that what makes our group so diverse. People chip in, people stay away. It's just how it is. And there's so many different characters and stuff in there. If I was to stick every member of the team on there, it'd be the most diverse podcast on the planet, I think.
Yeah, I've just remembered another shout out, and then I realised I better hadn't do it because that'd go too far then. So I'm going to leave you all with. I'm not going to do any more shouts.
Part of me thinks I want to hear it, and if it's the name that I think you're going to say, then
yeah, I'm gonna.
I don't actually think.
I'm sorry, viewers. No, I'm going to refrain. I don't
think the certain wing that's the certain person you mentioned on gets Wi-Fi, so I don't think it would reach them.
No, it probably wouldn't. Shout out to Nathan then. Come on.
Yeah, I'll delete that bit. Cut that bit out. I forgot where I was gonna wrap it up then. Yeah. Any questions you have for me? Because I noticed that you put out on your social media that anybody got any questions, and I know at the time of pressing the record button, there wasn't any. Have you had anybody that stuck a nibble on there? Should we have another
embarrassing look? I mean, I haven't got. I'm no one. Like, I'm literally no one in the world. I've got a few hundred followers. I'm no one. No, not one person asked a question.
Coronation Street.
Yeah, not one person.
I'm surprised Adam hasn't messaged you and gone, asking when my hoodie's coming.
Hang on, I'm going to check my messages as well. But yeah, so I put a thing on my Instagram story saying anyone got any questions, now's a good time to ask. I will answer them during the podcast. And not one person has asked me a question. I have got a message.
Oh, you shadow banned, John. You shadow banned.
Must be. No one's even sent me a message. So there we go. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Have you got any questions that you would like to ask? Because obviously you're fairly new-ish, not fairly new. You've had a subber with us on the Chicken Squad. Have you got any questions other than Where can you buy a Wolverine?
I don't need one of them. Just like if I ever need one, I go to Paul. He seems to do really well at pushing
He's a
people.
dealer. He's going to get if he hasn't got an affiliate deal with Wolverine, there's a problem.
I reckon you'll get an interview with the guy from Wolverine, and he'll come onto your podcast, and halfway through the podcast, he'll pull his face off, and it'll be Paul underneath a mask.
I'd know if it was Paul because there's 3 questions I can always ask for, and he'll lose his shit. So I'd know if it was Paul.
Brilliant.
I spent too much time on holiday with him not to know what buttons to press.
That birthmark question, is it? Where's that birthmark? Special birthmark location?
Well, they're both on the inside of his thighs. So.
No, I don't think I've got any questions. That might be fair. I don't think so. I think we're all pretty open, and I don't know. I've got no.
To be fair, every single question gets asked in that group. You put it. I looked. I think the other day, for no apparent reason, there was no messages in there for 9 hours, and I literally just had to put hello. This is broke because normally you put it down for an hour. And there's like 255 messages.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's good.
It's nice though. It's a family, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. It does bring. I would say there's more useful tips and knowledge that go on in there. And I know there's some people in there that aren't necessarily going to the best times at the minute, and it's very good to know that they can just make people laugh. Like I'll tear a hole in anybody in there, but it's there. It all comes from love, and it all comes from trying to put a smile on the other 50 odd people in the group. And I know to a man that every single person in there would help everybody.
Yeah, but
if they could do, if the chips were down.
Yeah,
unless they turn out to be a wrong
part of a family, and unless they turn out to be a wrong and who we all helped and we're really nice to. Yeah, but yeah, we're all a family, aren't we? We all love each other in a non-anal type, vaguely anal type way. We all love each other and help each other out, and that's part of being a family, and it's really good.
Yeah, definitely. And that's always it. If Mills wasn't in there, I'd say it was a brethren, but we love you, Mills, but you ruined the brethren. But we are loving having you in the team.
We're diverse.
We are very diverse. We've got loads of diversity now. We've got everybody. We've got loads of. I think we've got Mills, we've got Adam, and then everybody else.
That's it. We've got loads of white people.
Adam ticks about 5 different boxes. So
he does, yes.
Yeah. So, right. Thank you very much for those of you that have listened to our warblings. Thank you very much for tuning in to episode 2 of season 2. If you have enjoyed listening to what we've had to say, please get involved in the comments. Please hit that subscribe button, which will be just about there. And keep an eye out for all the short snippets. They are there. Please tune in next week when I will be back with another amazing guest. And please don't hit the X button in the top right corner because we have a short message from this episode's sponsors, which again is DEF CON. And I will see you all next. Hey, thanks for watching, and you'll probably notice that this season is brought to you in conjunction with DEF CON Airsoft, based in Stoke-on-Trent, one of the largest online retailers of airsoft products in the UK, also stocking Tokyo Marine, Wolverine Airsoft, and all leading brands. We've been working in the background to try and bring something and work alongside DEF CON, given they are probably our localist or most local airsoft retailer. And it's great to be working alongside them. So if you've not heard of DEF CON before, or you're looking for something new, please head over to their website or find on their social medias and check out what amazing offers they have at the moment. Again, thanks for watching and tuning in for season 2.